Hey, so you know, we're back. We're about to step on in to the meat palace with the meat man himself. Before we get to that, before I think we may wrap this game up. I'm not entirely certain how much is left, but I don't think much. Anyway, during the watch back, I realized that like the Ishimura being there and being cleaned up makes zero sense. When we played Dead Space 1, and when Nicole took her job that they showed us at the beginning of Dead Space 2, they said the ship was going to be decommissioned next year. So if it was broken, like we know it was broken, you know, with all the meat and the holes and shit, and they didn't want anyone on board to know what happened. And by onboard, I mean fucking like onboard Titan Station, and therefore throughout the rest of our space colonies, however far they may reach. Why didn't they just set it on a course to the nearest star and like call it finished? Why is it being rehabbed? Were they gonna put the crime evidence in a museum? I don't know. That's all fucking crazy. It seems to me, again, that it would be easier to just set it on the course to the nearest star and be like, we don't know what happened. It looks like they had some sort of navigation issue. It drifted. Everyone is assumed lost. We did a search and rescue of the Aegis 7 system, turned up nothing. Done. Tied up nice and neat. Anyway, I also went and looked up what element they synthesized in Iron Man 2, and it's just a fantasy metal. Apparently the people that write the fucking comics wanted to call it badassium, which drives me insane, because that's terrible, and RU7. And honestly, you know, looking back, that's even worse than I remembered. I remembered them synthesizing palladium, which is a real metal, and has real properties that you could really use in superconductors. This is nothing. So I guess it sits even more neatly into the slot that I'd put it in. You know, where a smart character yammers some garbage and does things with tubes that people assume are science tubes. And now they've solved whatever their problem is through what is effectively magic. If I'm recalling right, the first movie ended with them, like, exploiting an icing issue on the surface of these suits in stratospheric flight. I mean, they did it with titanium gold, which doesn't make a ton of sense because, like, it's non-reactive, but I don't know how that would stop, you know, like a fucking super-cooled fluid accretion. It's water. Gold can still get wet. Titanium can still get wet, so ice can still form on the surface. I don't fucking know. Maybe they threw a current through it to heat it or something, and they needed titanium but more ductile, so they added gold, which is useful in that manner. In any case, it was at least a nod towards metallurgy and using real metals to do something rather than making badassium in your fucking basement with tubes stacked on books that didn't set on fire for whatever. I can't think about this anymore. It's hurting my brain. Anyway, we fucked with some settings. We're gonna see how the video looks today. Because it records mostly fine, but then the watch back on Twitch is kind of dodgy. I'm working on it. We'll figure it out eventually. Alright, so let's get some noise. Let's get on in here. I've pressed the thing. Let's see if we get video. We're seeing. There we go. Alright. We're in. We're taking things. We're in chapter 12. See, at least this makes sense being here. This is clearly to chew rocks, like we're in a mine. Unlike those fire tubes, which I still can't figure out. Or the blade tunnels that we were in for a little bit, the zero-G fucking blender tunnels, that I also can't figure out. looks like a smear. So, someone was here and then drugged themselves somewhere. Or were drugged somewhere. Oh, hey. Well, Ellie gets to do her job. This is what she does. She's a heavy equipment operator. I don't know that pushing on it's gonna work.
Looks like the mechanic was dragged away before he could finish fixing this.
Plugging in a battery.
Well, I'm not sorry about that.
Yeah.
So what happens now? I thought you needed Strauss to destroy the marker.
Strauss couldn't lead us to the marker. He was running away from his guild.
Okay.
What about you?
I'm not running anymore. I know what I have to do. Well, this drill's a stroke of good luck finally. Why don't you get up to the cab to try to get it started? I'll look for the other power cell.
All right. I'll see what I can do from up here.
The game doesn't really let me give her just like a med kit. Because, you know, we see that her rig is flashing. She's been injured. Lost an eye. I hear meat. Oh, that's why. That's why. Okay, that ought to do it for the power cell, right? Wonder if they'll have me go up there. Force something else. We might have a look around beforehand, just because I'm curious. Nothing there. Alright. Walking over. Grabbing this. I'm just gonna set this here. And I'll be right back. It's fine, she's in the cabin. What do I have that I can afford to just kind of not have? I don't need quite so many of those right now, do I? Diamond semiconductor. That looks like it'll activate after I've done this other shit. Probably to fuck with that and get this thing started. That's my bet anyway. That's my bet. Battery's in.
Hey, what did you do? I just lost the control holograms.
Yeah, the circuit junction just shorted out. I'll have to find another.
Oh.
Well, it's standard. There should be another one around here somewhere.
I'll look. Any luck up there?
Well, no. Not now.
Right.
I mean, why didn't we power it down and then start that? Like, I assume those things just start throwing power immediately, whatever the battery packs are supposed to be. It would stand to reason that you wouldn't want to surge it, but okay. Here we go. I have to go over here and shoot some meat and then bring back a fuse, basically. Hey. You showed up. Nice to see you. Oh no, that's just the bits of the one. Okay. Well. Not a lot of reason to go over there, is there? Pretty much just doing this. Oh, do I have to walk over and take it? It said circuit board.
Bypass the nav card. Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm hitting the console. Even though I'm looking at the site on the thing, I'm hitting the console. Well, how many more do you think they'll throw at us before we're allowed to leave here? Okay.
It doesn't recognize the new junction.
I think I've got it from up here.
Or maybe just rewired from down here.
What? I didn't hear you.
Nothing. Nothing.
Doesn't recognize the new junction? It's a fuse.
I did it! I got it started. There, you know, there's a lift on the other side. I'll turn around, you can get on.
Thanks.
She's moving that thing places and ways. And there's all kinds of sharp shit. I'm just super wondering how safe that is. I'm gonna say not very. Okay. Is she done yet? Okay. This is the lift. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Alrighty, let's see what this beast can do.
I'm betting it can chew rocks. I'm sure this is a combat arena, right? Like they're gonna climb on somehow? Or be up here? Yeah. 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 And that way is sure to kill me, so... we just kind of have to be here, don't we?
The mines are swarming with these things!
Let's see.
If there's this many,
Oh, there we go.
maybe we think you're above us.
Fucking some, I don't know. There they were, all lined up. Yep. More in all the smoke. They can see me better than I can see them. Sir, get off. No. Okay. She's saying we dropped a couple frames there. Some of what we've experienced with just visual issues is just Comcast, and there's not really anything I can do about Comcast. Bye. Bye. But hopefully a dropped frame here and there is not really a problem.
You okay out there?
Oh yeah, good times.
Why didn't I ride in the thing with her? This game is really not built for multiple quick engagements, is it?
They're climbing up the sides!
I'll try and keep them off. You just steer clear of those walls.
It just doesn't seem to play well with that. The weapon switching is slow, and, you know, the aiming is what it is. Isaac doesn't move terribly quickly, despite people's claims that this is veered more towards action. I guess part of the survival horror for them is the horror of controls that fight you every step of the way. It's not horrific for me, or at least not in the way that it's being pitched. I prefer to have control of my character and, you know, move around, but it doesn't scare me if the controls are bleh. The interesting thing about Isaac is that if you're pointing yourself at a number of things at once, your side-to-side movement is extremely slow. You can't aim and move very well.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Stop! Stop!
Oh, okay. Why?
Looks like we reached the foundation pylons of the government sector.
So how do we get in there?
Straight ahead. We do have a giant drill.
You know I'm riding on top of this thing, right?
Ellie! 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 Ellie!
Okay. Ellie doesn't care. Again, is this supposed to be for comedy? Am I supposed to be laughing, or...?
Holy crap, that hurt.
Well, we can compare bruises later. But at least we made it, right? And this is most definitely government sector. And I'm guessing that marker of yours is behind that huge door over there.
Well, we better move fast. Those things are gonna find a way up the hole we drilled. There's gotta be an elevator or something connecting these floors. I'm gonna try to make my way to you.
All right, I'll meet you halfway.
Sure. Chapter 13. Trucking right along. But yeah, I don't know if that's supposed to be funny or not. What I was saying on controls. I guess for some people they experience a sense of panic when they can't get their character to do what it is that they're asking it to do. I don't really get panic, I get frustration.
Isaac, there's a gunship docked here.
What?
Sick.
Is it damaged?
Not that I can tell. Isaac, do you hear me? We're gonna make it out of here alive.
One of us is. It's too dangerous for you to stay here, Ellie.
What are you talking about? Just get your ass in here. I'm starting a system check now.
Anyway, so yeah, frustration, absolutely. Fear, not so much. Brighter futures, EarthGov. So Isaac's sluggish movement and the tendency for... I'm not sure if this is actually firing 3 projectiles, but there will be a number of times where I've like laced something between them. And you'd figure that it's projecting a line, right? That I should be able to tag whatever's between them. No. No. Oh well. Is that not where I'm supposed to be going? I've wandered off the path already. Oh, there's a power node. Well, good thing I came back. I guess that door opened after they were done having their conversation. Whatever would have happened if they were still talking in this hallway. Yeah, let's use that for a little bit.
Power on. Auxiliary systems booting up.
That's a weird looking ship.
What are you doing?
Closing hatch.
Oh. Hey, Isaac, what are you doing?
Gunship command override confirmed.
Isaac, what are you doing? Open the door right now.
Emergency launch cycle initiated.
No.
Airlock sealed.
No, no, don't you dare! Don't you dare launch the ship! Isaac!
It's your best chance, Ellie. You got life support, comms. Hey, you gotta be rescued.
You bastard.
I need you to be rescued.
Okay.
I couldn't save Nicole. But I can save you, Ellie. So, bye.
Alright.
Are you ready to talk now?
Why? So I can let you go too? I can't do that, Nicole. I never wanted to let you go.
A lot happened that we never wanted. Isaac. Touch me,
That's inappropriate.
Good idea.
Thank you.
please. Make us whole.
What?
I can't.
Also, hey Isaac, how come you're trusting this hallucination at all? It's doing the make us whole thing again. I don't...
Waypoint. What the hell?
Like, what's wrong with you, man? You... Ah, shit.
Protects you, Clark, when it ends here.
Oh, it's me.
200 armed security personnel. Every entrance is covered. Even if you do get in, you won't get far.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Providence is an interesting name for it. Okay, we've downloaded the schematics for the advanced suit, which we've seen before. Selling off these extras. Yeah. So, what? Finish that stack and then one more stack of that. 1, 2, 3. So, finish that stack and then one more stack of that, and then one more stack of this, and we ought to be good, right? Move that right to my inventory because that's convenient. Right about there. Okay. So 2 more of those. That's an extra. Whoop. Yeah, so just 2 more of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And that'll do just fine. Okay, let's go take down the government, I guess. Hello, government? Are you in there? I've appropriated your tools. This elevator doesn't have a big weird fucking fan in it. Just saying. Just saying. Well, that's a shooting gallery up there. We're gonna wanna just... let that happen? I think just let that happen, right? You're not my problem. Oh. Oh, now they're my problem. Hello, Dark Baby. Ow. I was hoping they would just remain not my problem. It didn't work out that way. We're gonna have to move out of here. Hello, government. Are you still in here? Hey, where's Where's the other one of those? There he is. I found him. The quarters are just so close. Anyway. Oh, hey. I think there's still a dark baby or two running around. Yeah. There he goes. With his dark baby tendrils. One more? I think so. I just don't know where they went to. Oh, there they are. They're in the rubble. Somehow able to see me through the rubble. There they go. Gotcha. Got you too. So the door seemed to be shut. Ah, boy. How many of you were running around? We still don't really have an objective marker. That's where we came in. Government, can I open the... Oh, I have to hack the door, I see. Sure, why not? I figured the dead people were looking for the government. They may have still been looking for the government. We just weren't privy to that information. How are we looking on those? Yeah, we'll be alright. Okay. We want all the following prior to inspection. Remove all the following, so phones, jewelry, food, drink, jackets, shoes. You gotta spin around on the scanner. It's like the TSA. One person through at a time. This is a shitty display, huh? No, the door's shut. That's cool. I don't know how, if I like forced it open via rewiring, that it just shut like that, but sure, fine. What are you guys reading in here? New technology, 0G. Same as the old magazines. How are we looking on that feed? Still good? Oh, it's good. Ah, shit. No.
Open fire! You're surrounded. Drop your tools and put your hands up.
I learned this from the meat men. You gotta get in the vents. So long, fuckers. Can't track me in here, apparently. They were just tracking my rig, and now I'm gone. So, vents, tracker-proof. Yeah, sure am. I'm as loose as the juice itself. I am, of course, referring to actual Juice, and not a man who called himself Juice. You know. I'm not entirely sure how many people even still think about O.J. Simpson. Which is a shame because he absolutely did, you know, have his ex-wife and boyfriend, and her boyfriend murdered. That did happen. But the defense attorneys came up with a rhyme, and I guess that was enough to convince a jury.
marker. Fall back. Fall back to the marker chamber. We have to seal it off.
Can I plug this back in so I can see? No, of course not. Of course not. How many vents are in this room? Asking for a friend. Yeah, you're really not gonna let me plug that back in so I can see, though. Perfectly good battery. Can't do a thing with it. Alright. Well, because spooky, I guess. Still no real way to track objectives. The vent is locked. Yeah, there they are. They're out there. It's a mess. Bye. No, I do mean it, though. We still got these, which still managed to do something via means that are a mystery to me. I genuinely don't understand how they hurt me in this suit. We got stasis. We got that guy who just gave me money. Yeah, nothing there. Yeah. Okay, we continue. Wow, again, you guys, are like uniquely bad at this, huh? I know I've said it before, I'm going to reiterate it. We are literally using their tools. This should not have happened. If the only way that your plot works in a horror story is for everyone to be stupid and useless, your plot is bad. It's a bad plot. Do better. Hey.
Isaac, where are you going?
You know where I'm going. I know where I'm going.
Here, Isaac. To show you the way.
Okay. Send it to my fucking space phone like everybody else. God. You'd figure we'd be done with her by now. We had our reconciliation. We did the acceptance step, you know? Oh, okay, so we have... These are for, like, medical. Well, that answers my question from the first game, like, why the two were dressed differently. Then again, I guess, fucking Chalice, Mercer, and, Terrence were wearing the same thing. I blanked them out, I gotta be honest. You would think that they would want something a little bit more poke resistant, like you deal with a lot of sharps in a lab, so I don't... Okay. Let me go get one for you. We know this trick. Come here. Oh, Lars Nordstrom. Which one's Lars? It ain't that one. You Lars? That's not Lars. You Lars? I don't know. Open. I can't open while holding maybe Lars. They all had fucking helmets on. Is this Lars? This is not Lars. How about you Lars? This one still got his head. One of them better be. Hello, Lars? You must be. You simply must be. Or there's another panel in here that I'm just supposed to fuck with and I haven't, like, spun around the right direction to see it yet. Is this Lars? This is not Lars. Alrighty. So let's see. Four, five, six. Is it just like a... Am I not holding in the right spot, or... Well, now it's hooked there. Perhaps I simply haven't found Lars yet. It's the only body that I haven't fucked with. Is this Lars? No. That's also not Lars. Okay, that's security protocol. That's nothing, that's nothing, that's nothing. Those are coming up as locked. So, like... Are you Lars? This is Lars. Okay. Lars was in the room the whole time. Thank you, Lars.
Phelps, research log 43509. I can't stop thinking about the formulas from patient 4's last session. They're so clearly ordered, they keep playing back in my mind. The final configuration seems within reach. I can almost solve it myself. It's funny. I was telling Travis the other day that it's almost like it wants us to succeed. I've never seen anything like it. Once we finally solve this heuristic stabilization problem, we should be able to start growing the layers of the marker from the mineral baths.
Okay. So now we know what the marker is kind of sort of made of. Minerals, likely cloned tissue, possibly glial tissue. Seems like it responds to brain stuff, right? Well, somebody ran by. We weren't quite quick enough to see who. It looks like they built a lattice and they're just going to kind of try to grow it on that like it's a salt crystal. Oh, that's where it wants me to go. So naturally. I want to know where Meat Man ran to. Hello? Oh. There you are. Kind of took the long way around, didn't you? Anyway, that looks like a mess. Anyway, I also can't remember, what did I say? Glial? I'm not sure which way it's pronounced. It's the stuff that, you know, fucking helps with brain messages. I'm not a wet scientist. Alright, well, we found out where Meat Man ran. Even though I don't see a vent for him to crawl into, like I didn't see any sort of scampering room there. But, fine, whatever. There we go. Just kind of refused to let me affect it through that. There we go. We got there eventually. Am I done? Do we have more? That's a shit position to start that room in. Well, back to it, right? We got apples. We got some kind of plant. We have a small belch. We got me continuing to be very confused as to how it is these people manage to get basically anything done in any of the places that they do things. This is a really, like, narrow passageway for a busy lab. Even the bullshit nowhere pharmacy that I worked at for a little bit had wider passageways than this. Down they go. The project annex. For all your projects. Yeah, I know. I broke it. Kinda got nothing going on in here, huh, fellas? Well, okay. Stealing your shit, then. It's a bench. I suppose under normal circumstances it wouldn't be that crazy to still be working on a build or something similar while you're at this stage of things. You munch that and... it'll be fine. Oh, a power node door. Well, don't mind if I do. Stasis. A med pack. More rounds. You know what? I'll sort through that in just a second. I will be right back. And there we go. We should hear me again. We should see things again. We're hearing, we're seeing. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Alright. Back to it. And by it, of course, I mean the meat. I hear meat. Okay. They're playing the crawly thing music again. You're just getting those plucks. Are you unsettled? Are you unnerved? Oh, whoop. I guess I thought I wanted to talk to the bench when I was pressing E to try to pick up the thing. Okay. Well. Do you feel little hand bits crawling all over you when they do that? Maybe some bugs. Open. Oh, we got another body, and we got their whole self-professed Jurassic Park thing going on. In one of the interviews, we haven't seen a mom in a while either. We'll probably do that before the bonus thing that I do with this. They wanted these to seem like and, quote, feel like the velociraptors in Jurassic Park. But, you know, I'm not a shrieking 10-year-old, so I don't... It's whatever. The witch says she's a shrieking 10-year-old. She's not. She is, in fact, 3 shrieking 10-year-olds. Yeah, and these are enhanced. You know, actual things that hunt in packs like this, if they start losing members of that pack, they typically fuck off. Like, they don't really want anything to do with serious resistance, and it's not all that possible for them to just quickly replace their numbers. So, you knock off a few, they go, no. By what? Oh. I see. My reticle disappeared on that one. It's weird. Flame fuel. I still wish the game would stop doing that. Anyway, I still hear something glorping around, but we'll get to it when we get to it. It may just be me stepping on this crap. It's entirely possible. Okay. I just have to grab that and put it in this hole? Is that what you're telling me?
Bonnie Worthington, research log 16671. It's the same signal. Dementia and codes and blueprints are all caused by the same signal from the marker. It's the people that are different. Smart people see codes and blueprints, but to everyone else it's just noise. Noise that drives you mad.
Well, there you go. It's just noise that drives you mad unless you got brains. Now the lights are out. What do you want to bet we're going to get slapped by something as we put this in? Again, stunned at the restraint. Bye. Okay then. I guess the baby noise is just part of the soundtrack. Every now and again I'll hear like a baby noise, and I'm wondering what kind of baby they're throwing at me, but I guess none now. And again, I wonder like what part of that they thought was unsettling. Did they not realize that sounds in games are supposed to... Oh, fuck's sake.
What is that? I can feel it in my head.
It's confusion, Isaac.
The marker knows you're here.
Cool.
I still don't know what to do.
When the time comes, you will.
No, it's okay, Isaac. I know what to do. This is not the Dark Machine, not yet. Where? Anyway, like I was saying with game noises, they're supposed to communicate things, and I don't get the sense that the developers here knew that or understood it terribly well. They just went, well, it's a spooky noise. Why aren't you spooked? I'm doing the spook noise. Come on and get scared.
Dodge these lasers to make my way around the other side.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's gonna be one of those, isn't it? Where you stick your head out and you immediately get hit by the thing that slows you, and oh no, it was right there in front of where you needed to go. Yep. Tedious. No, let's change my gun. Okay. Oh, well now there's more of them on the scene. And now you moved rather than hanging out over there. Was that not supposed to be this way? Okie doke.
I have to dodge these lasers to make my way around the other side. This will be fun.
Okay. Hi to you too. Jeez. Ow. Well, I guess you weren't done. Or there was many of you. It's really easy to lose them in the piles. Why are you nude? Give me this. Anyway, where's the next spot that I'm running to, and is it also full of boy? I want that money back. I don't even know what I'm going to use it for anymore. Is this like a microbiology lab? Looks like it. Oh, it just got whacked by the thing, did it? No, it decided to lay down. Just like an actual baby, it figured it would take a nap right here. And it's the marker lattice. Thought I might have started that last one too late. I think I'm finally at the destination in question, though. Oh yeah, Isaac is simply not built for breaching and clearing rooms very quickly, it would seem. That went okay, but his jog is really quite slow. And this suit doesn't seem to be all that rigid or restrictive. I don't... This is unacceptable. Get off. Get off. Alright, well, I may have pinned him to the wall. Anyway, his suit doesn't seem all that rigid or restrictive, so I can't imagine that it's, like, fucking him up so bad that he can't run fast. It's just, again, what the developers thought was a good spooky pace. It's just marker lasers. What the fuck are these? What are we supposed to be doing? It's just lasers. Why is it lasers? It is. Cool, what do you want me to actually... move it down? It's a bridge? Move it down, it's a bridge. That's the guy that rode up with us. Okay. What is this? Other than, I don't know, maybe a spindle or some shit like that. Like, what is this? What is this machine? Oh. Yeah, like directly on top of my head, huh? That's more than once that they've done that. That they've just kind of dropped them quite literally on my head. Okay. So now we're in this hallway. Sounds bad in there. And hey, maybe it was for a moment, but we'll never know. I believe we'll be meeting our regenerating enemy soon. Like before this is all over. Because they have to throw that in. It was so much fun the first time, you know?
Kenner Phelps, research log 43546. Success. The marker layer held out. It is a fully expressed physical representation of the heuristic algorithms from patient 4, with no breakdowns. The construction schedule begins in earnest tomorrow. Celebration is tonight. I hope I don't black out in the middle of the party. I'm anxious, for some reason.
He's very anxious for some reason. It's maybe because he knows his ideas are bad. So, patient 4, as we remember, is, Strauss. I believe we're patient 5. I may have that flipped. Anyway, it's the stuff they built from, these very, very smart boys' brains. And don't worry, they're smart. They told us they were. Yep. 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 That's the problem with just kind of letting them spawn in anywhere. Is that there's then nowhere for the player to go. There's no manner to be strategic. You just kind of have to then react, and that's not what this game is. How did you do that without anything to project it out of? good. The music would suggest I am not. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. Only the female slasher necromorphs seem to be capable of doing that. Don't know why. Because girls spit. Or at least the development team of Dead Space 2 thinks they do. That's more seeker shells. We don't really need that. We do need this. That's stasis. Stasis comes back on its own. That's nothing. Nice of him. That's money. Cool, I guess. Is that where I'm going? Alright, excellent. Yeah. What a mess. Well, I should note that it's not just target-related reactions that make for a good action game, it's also the ability to create distance. And this is something that, you know, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal understood, is that you must be able to physically move yourself in order for that snappy reaction time to really count. Otherwise, the game can simply spawn things in a place where there's no good way to get around it. No. And of course, you know, people do no-hit runs of these things, but that's after having played nothing but this game for ages and ages and ages. Memorizing what goes where and when it happens. So while that's impressive, it is just rote repetition. Certainly cool that they can recall like that, but it's not exactly what I would say is like, you know, a fair comparison for normal gameplay. Am I done here too? Is every floor gonna be like this? Do you have anything for me? No. Fucking maybe, right? Fucking maybe. Just a goop corner. What did I pick up? Nothing all that egregious. I don't need that, though. Is that finally closed? Okay. So, making sure everything's loaded. And that guy is absolutely dead. Some brief house cleaning. There are places above for them to jump down from. Believe so. Believe so. More seeker shells. They're just encouraging my bad habits. Well, there we go. For the cheap shot. Unreal with the cheap shot. Unreal. Anyway. Back to opening this. We'll see if they cheap shot me again. I'm wondering what happens if someone is just kind of barely scraped by, you know? Does that mean restart from a different save?
I blacked out early last night and woke up this morning staring at a tiny, fully formed version of the marker in one of the crystal layer printing baths. I had entered the entire heuristic sequencing algorithm. I can still hear it in my mind, like a song now. I know the dementia suppressors are working, but this is something entirely different.
Okay, well... Dementia suppressors. I believe now we're in the Umbrella Nest facility. Because why wouldn't it look like this Project Intercore? Okay then. Yeah, sure.
Kenner Phelps, research log 43553. I'm convinced we are puppets of some alien influence. I no longer believe we're in control of this project, or ever were. I believe even our rationalizations for this whole thing are an illusion, planted by the forces behind the original marker, the black one. We don't know how to make this thing. It is making us make it, and it's trying to get out, desperately. I'm under security watch after taking a sledgehammer to the tiny marker I built last week. We need to destroy everything we've built here, and destroy every record, every shred of research. They were right the first time on Aegis 7. This is beyond our ability to know or control. I have to go. My supervisor is whispering to the security guard.
Well, there you have it. The markers just kind of borrow our hands to make other markers. 2 more of those. Oop, wrong button. Looks good to me. Which is a fine idea in and of itself. I give this game a ton of shit for its plot. But the markers beaming a signal to puppet susceptible brains into building other markers is fine, and that would be fine if we stopped the story there. We see in Dead Space 3 that we don't. Finally, a text log. Private communication from Overseer. Tideman. Disappointed in the evacuation decision. Consequences will be dire. That is all. Well, I mean, I'm not. Evacuation seems like the right call. If you're doing like a shadow cabal of bullshit, you probably want to keep up appearances, right? That way, if it all goes south, you can be like, well, you know, we tried to save people. And that research must have been conducted by rogue elements within our organization because, hey, we were also part of the relief efforts, and look at how good everyone is doing after that. But again, why have your manipulators actually manipulate when you can just say, well, they're manipulators, they're sneaky. And then you don't have to explain anything and they just get away with stuff. Is this a scanner? Is it like a security thing? Looks new. Hello? Why does he keep doing that? Keep your fucking helmet on.
Oh my god. I built that.
I mean, probably not by yourself, bud. No.
What are they doing?
They're all coming to the marker. Convergence is at hand.
Okay.
I knew you were trouble from the start, but they told me you were necessary. That your mind was the purest. I spent years sifting through your demented brain. This is not the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a party.
Clark, this is not our fault. We were so close to understanding it.
No. Now this is happening. Inception.
What did you let in here? It's triggering a convergence event. But we never expected this many bodies.
What the hell is it doing?
It's time for the kick.
Isaac, you have to make us whole.
Well, there you go. Thing happened. Boy tornado. Put your fucking helmet on, you idiot. Oh, here we go. We're at the dark machine now. Yeah. This looks right to me. The dark machine. Who hasn't operated one of these in their life? In we go. No? You're not gonna let me do that yet? Yeah, this is it. I know what it is. There.
Just like Strauss said. I remember.
Oh sure, like Strauss said.
Activates the parts of our brain where the marker codes are stored. But how does that threaten the marker? What were they afraid of?
Me. Us. Working together.
Step 4.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah, he is.
Hurt, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Step inside.
Yeah, activate.
Step 1. Crawl inside.
We are in the dark machine. The screws go tight.
All around. Cross my heart and hope to die. Stick a needle in your eye.
Hold still. You're being an asshole and this is going to kill you if you don't hold still. Isaac. See? See? That's what happens when you don't hold still. I've got it. I know how this works, Isaac.
Step 1. Crawl inside. Step 2. The screws go tight. All around. Cross my heart and hope to die. Stick a needle in your eye.
Hold still. Okay. This was one of the scenes they were very proud of. The Dead Space 2 developers said that they fought and fought to keep it in the game. There we are. By the way, you can survive something like that. Know people that have taken a screwdriver or a drill bit to the eye. The eye doesn't work so good afterward. Sometimes they end up with a misshapen or torn pupil. And it doesn't contract right.
Follow the light, Isaac. I'll be waiting for you at the marker.
What do I do?
Oh, relax, Isaac. I know what to do. We have to face her. She's inside. Anyway, the power systems are auxiliary. There we go. There's our new not nemesis. They just regenerate over and over again. We know how to deal with them. There we go. And now we have to do this. Maybe more than once. I did put him in stasis. Oh no, he shook it off. There we are. Ah, just as you got back on your feet, huh, friend? And much like not Nemesis, this is the best way to deal with him. Open. No. Let me just... Right? Okay, bye. I believe there's more than one of them this time. And this is just going to kind of be the thing we do, so... Just like with not Nemesis, we're just going to do our best to keep moving. Not much to see here anyway. We have other friends now. There we are. I don't see us being followed for the moment. So, we have time to do all kinds of mischievous things, like steal shit from lockers. And grab this power node. And blow up that corpse. Where am I going? This way. Still? Yeah, still. Well, give me this. And they do the thing where they kick it in directly behind you. I believe I need that corpse on the wall that the pedestal that I blew up. Anyway, we bounced it off the right door, so... And now we can do this. There we go. And yeah, that was, some brief characterization on Tideman. He feels responsible for what's happening. He's trying to save as many people as he can. That's nice of him. A little bit late to get characterization on what is effectively our lead antagonist now. What's back here? Oh. I grabbed the wrong thing. Hey, it worked out. Goodbye. Let's get that going, shall we? It's a very slow elevator. That's okay. We got the right tools for this. Bye. And we continue. Open. There we go. Now it worked. to kick him out of this room, but I'm not allowed to, I guess. Anyway, bye again. Maybe? Christ. Alright. Okay, now I can. This is the way I'm going, yes? Yes. Alright, excellent. Does this fire in sequence? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see. But that's not... Sure, whatever. The game looked at my attempt to Iron Curtain defense that and it just said no. Told me it had about had it with my bullshit. Alright, well. Do that one next. So up and over. There's another semiconductor. That'll be cool if we see a store again. Ever. No. I'd say that I don't see how it is that idiot could have followed me through this, but I'm sure he did. Because it's spooky, you see. It's just that spooky. Ah.
You can't fight it. How can you go?
Nicole.
Isaac, stop it.
Yeah, I know.
There's no other way.
I know that. Listen, I got him, okay? Just hush. Hush, hush. I've more than got this. Oh, yeah. Give me this. Spirits of any kind, you know, they get possessive. It helps to keep a professional distance. You borrow the experience, you don't own it, that sort of thing. Probably one too many of those, but whatever. That's looking alright. We can ditch a stack of those. Said one too many of those. So one more stack of plasma things. Two more of those. Yeah. Okay. I think I overdid it on the pulse rounds. Pretty sure. Yeah. That'll show me. I'll move those two. Alright, so now I can do. Just. That should do it? Yeah, it should do it. Okay. We're looking good, we're feeling good. You know what, there is one more thing that I have to do here. We have to dress for the occasion. There we go. Now we're ready. We've been inside the dark machine. we're gonna go face her. Well, there we go.
Convergence is almost here.
Yeah, I'm working on it. This is the Zealot suit. Yeah, again, another bonus for just snagging it when you snag it. Came with the Big Dumb edition, way back in the day. It's also a look that I've appreciated more over time. I didn't really used to care for it, but like I said, the marker scroll I find these days to be quite pretty. I like its shapes, even though they are nonsense. Well, not nonsense, there's a cipher for them, but still. Okay. Convergence is happening. See? Oh, hey. I'm trying to talk about convergence, and you guys are being dickheads. But yeah, that's what that is. And it makes the Inception noise. Gross. Oh, there he is. The official name of this thing is the Ubermorph. Because they couldn't just call it the Hunter again, I guess. Whatever. That's also, in my book, not a terribly impressive name. Bit of a cop-out. As far as I know, it's not even all that super. It just kind of looks weird. It's a lot more insectoid, isn't it? I'm also not certain how it's supposed to function. Like, as far as a killing thing, but its anatomy is so bizarre that I'm willing to just go with it. Okay. It seems to be the pattern that every other necromorph is built off of or building towards. They all wish they could be the Ubermorph or are trying to become the Ubermorph. Oh, hey, there he is. There we go. I'm like, give me the leg. Alright, bye. No. Should last way too long. Anyway, we keep moving. We deal with him as it's convenient. He works on our clock, not the other way around. Anyway, I think it's the more things we remove, the longer it takes him to fix himself. But I can't honestly be sure anymore if it even matters. Okay. Well, anyway, goodbye. Have that. We're continuing to make our winding way on over. No. I don't care that much. Get out of the way, dude. And of course, we again see that they are nothing but the enhanced variants. Because it's time for the game to be hard, you see. Do you feel it? Is it hard? Do I have time to read this? Are they gonna... Let's find out. Let's be bad. Alright. Tideman's last hope. To anyone who may find this transmission, there are people, even some of my own staff, who say I'm a monster for what I brought to this station. They say the marker is manipulative, that it influenced my decisions. They don't understand that what I did for this community, for our species. Titan Station was a dead husk before I breathed life back into it with government research grants. That research into unimaginable sources of energy, into manufacturing techniques and efficiencies far beyond all previous understanding, is the only hope that remains for mankind. We have relied on destructive planet cracking for far too long, and now we can no longer sustain ourselves. We need the markers to survive. If we fail in our efforts to understand them, there is no hope for humanity. Hans Tideman, Director of Operations, Earth Government Colonial Alliance. And there you have it. He did it for you. Yeah, that all looks important. We're almost there. Almost. Despite minor technical difficulties early on. Okay. Wanted that free shot, huh? Had to have it. Oh. Well, then I'm going this way. I want to see what's in here. It's nothing, it's the other side of this. There's nothing over here. Am I crazy? No, there's just nothing there. Okay, you gonna be just inside here? Doesn't look like it. Alright. Looks like we finally get to go inside and face her.
The research in that marker is worth every life we just lost!
Ow. Okay, well, that's alright. We'll go ahead and start that again. I guess I didn't mash E fast enough. There we go. Take two. There we are. We're mashing E. There, alright. Isaac, stop taking the javelins.
I won't let you throw all this away.
I'm just gonna keep mashing E, I think. Also, hey Tideman, how are you still alive, man? Cool. Well, we've done it.
Thank you, Isaac. Now, time to die.
What? You can't be this stupid. It's alright, I've got it.
Yours is the last body we need to be reborn. The Makers must be absorbed.
The Makers? You mean me? But Strauss said we could destroy the marker.
Not if we consume you first.
God damn it, I trusted you!
Yeah, why did you do that?
And fuck your marker!
Bye. That's what we're aiming for. Nah, that's okay. told you, you rank amateurs. I know how to do this. And we can see that our boy very nearly did die.
Reactor containment destabilized. A reactor breach is imminent. Evacuation of all personnel is required. This is not a drill. Auxiliary power systems. Reactor containment failure. Reactor breach is now in progress. Evacuate immediately all personnel and civilians. This is not a drill.
And unlike the previous one, we get to watch the closing cutscene
Life support failure.
with some credits.
You complete bastard! Was this your great plan? Dump me off and die?
Full of bad ideas, remember?
Yeah, well, here's another one. I'm crashing through the roof to get you. Now move your ass.
Wait, no, Ellie, it's too late. Stay clear of the station.
Yeah, well, you don't really have a say this time. Heads up.
I should note that I'm not really doing any of this. This is just Isaac doing things. Now I'm in control. There we are. Up we go. We have to mash E. We've mashed E. We've been here before, haven't we? But don't think too much about it.
What?
Haha, do you get it? It's like the first game. Anyway, Visceral Games, Redwood Shores. They still did it. They still did it. You must save your progress to unlock New Game Plus mode. It's a mode that plays very, very similarly to the way that we did it. Elite versions of the security suit and its variants are now in there. You know, they're kind of dropped throughout the game. You can also do hardcore mode. We won't. And that's New Game Plus. Suits, weapons from your prior playthrough. We did it. We notice that we now see the marker clearly. It appears to be circuitry, kind of inlaid into blackened and reddened silicate. I don't really know what that metal would be, but it's metallic. It has a sheen to it, and it seems to be in there. There. Dead Space 2. We'll kill the sound. We'll send you here. Saw parts of the end while muted. Still am muted. Yeah, don't worry about it. You didn't miss much. It's somewhat of a short chapter, and is shortened further by, you know, some minor technical difficulties. We had to fuck with the fucking feed here to get things looking right. But oh well. You know what? Give us maybe a moment, or do I just want to, like, have a look at this? Because I did promise a kind of thing now that I've played through both of these. We might take a little bit of a break. I might get something to drink and then be back, and maybe 15 minutes, thereabouts. But let me see what it is that I've got ready already. If only to maybe break this up for easier viewing, for people that don't really give a shit. What do you think, darling? You got opinions on the matter? Alright, the witch is saying go for it, so if I take a drink of water during this, don't be surprised. Having played both of these, 1 and 2, and kind of, you know, getting a view of the series as far as I have, I got real problems with the setting, but not at its fundamental level. There are solid ideas here, it's just that we stray very, very far into basically video game horror tropes, and we don't think about who does what and why and how to meet them and how it is a story should flow, which means that we end up fucking around in circles forever. Yeah, that was so bombastic. Yeah, the ending is a fucking... It's a light show for the sake of a light show, and the part where you get sucked into the marker and you're kind of in that other space, that's fine. That's whatever. In fact, that is the dad space, and we may or may not visit there again. As someone else, not as Isaac. There's a more suitable vessel available. But anyway, so we have these kind of solid ideas, like, and now that the series is truly dead, I'm left with all this kind of, like, story meat to play with, and I don't have, like, a proboscis sticking out of my face that I can inject yellow shit into the corpse and reshape it, but I have my own ways of recombining necrotic matter into something I find more interesting. So, indulge me, or don't. You're free to fuck off, that's okay. So I want to start with the necromorphs and the unitologists themselves. The backstory of the latter, that being the unitologist, is fine. You know, all we need to hear is that someone found this strange fucking structure. Wanted to tell the world, died because of it. The government maybe covered it up, or just, you know, the project was buried, and then, like, you know, people kind of build a religion around it. You know, what did he find? It had to have been divine, right? And I wanted to kind of unfuck their ethos, because they don't work as an organization in, like, a similar way to Umbrella just not working. There's no way that anyone would do business with these people. That's strictly out of the question. But let me go ahead and close this. There'll be a blip of noise from Dead Space for a moment. There we go. And Pi, of course, offering commentary, as always. Please, your notes. Be free with them. He's just gonna stare at me for the time being. But we'll get to the unitologists in just a second. I want to consider a different angle to the entire kind of mechanism that catalyzes the conflicts here. I hate it when story writers go bounding after the whole infection motif without considering can versus can't of that kind of, like, vector for catastrophe. In order for infections to spread, we mash the words together, it happens sometimes, quickly, they have to be efficient and effective in some, like, really specific ways. Airborne transmission is best. Waterborne is okay, but not a lot of microbes. In fact, basically no microbes that would survive within the human body. Survive, like, a distillation or any kind of filtering process like that. You can kill them quite simply. It's harder to boil air and live, you know what I mean? Everything else, you know, contact, fluid transfer, this slows spread to quarantinable levels, and in a space station where someone probably has access to cordon off an entire spot with basically airtight, watertight, fucking blast sealed doors, you can't, you know? You can't. So we don't need a magic space germ that somehow converts your intestines into bone swords. And this is quite literally what the wiki and the people behind the game says it does. You know, they assume that bones and intestines are the same shit, right? So all the internal organs get fucking converted into sludge, and then they make new bone out of it. No. Your bones are at least partially rock. Limestone is a pretty close comparison. So it still needs materials from somewhere else that isn't really in your intestines, but whatever. We have a compelling and workable mechanism to send things into total disarray in the form of the markers themselves and the signal that they broadcast. Like, they have this notion of a wave, a radiation, something that your brain understands as language being emanated from this structure that we don't know the inner workings of, and frankly don't have to. And that's good. Why we went with also it's bacteria maybe is fucking beyond me. Anyway, so the necromorphs themselves, let's get into them. I would want to lean more towards Reanimator and as far away from Resident Evil as possible. Like, the only thing that the marker does is that, well, I should say the only thing that it does with necrotic flesh in this kind of, like, rework that I got going on in my head is that it is able to reliably jumpstart the brain and the circulatory system in a manner that it finds useful. But kind of like installing a fresh operating system to blank hardware, what it writes in is only its own programming, nothing else. It can't do this maybe with living brains for the same reason that you can't just kind of like install a brand new operating system on your computer that's currently running. It needs that restart, right? The information may be there, but it's not doing anything until it is off. In this case of like the human body dead, and then turned back on again, like by the marker. So like what would come back in this case isn't the person that they were, or even like a person, to use the slang that we're starting to build here. They've been waned. Their memories, their experiences, any semblance of a personality, that's just fucking gone. What you have is effectively what it is that we were being told the markers were kind of doing at the end of Dead Space 2, and that is like a meat puppet. It's useful hands for a guiding remote intelligence. Fine, cool. This already works better than the infection route, because you're not going to get too many people telling you, no, you can't, and here's how I know. Of note, these things should probably also not have an individual will, just a set of instructions. Maybe we see them digging and collecting minerals to build a new marker. Maybe we see them collecting bodies to bring before the marker and have them reanimated. But of course, you know, this poses another problem with the markers themselves. You know, unless they're planted close to a burial ground, they don't have much to work with. But the game has things like that. The signal being broadcast is always present, and for some people the instructions it wants to install worm their way in regardless of currently running processes, you know, sort of like the way malware works. Of course it'll work better for those who want to listen. In this analogy, someone who clicks on, you know, whatever the fuck bigtittyasians.exe that they download off of a random website. But for other folks, depending on how aware of it they are and how consciously they're used to resisting ideas and basically groupthink, they may be able to tune it out. They may also not be able to tune it out and find themselves with a strong urge to kind of join in whatever work is being performed by the corpses. We can also say that part of the instruction is a sort of like minimum viable workforce. If there are not enough bodies and enough hands working on something at any given time, then they go get more. So, like, let's slot this into a scenario, and we'll work on the unitologists as we do. Okay? Let's say after the discovery of the black marker on Earth, we get the church founded, and it's written, and as it's written and, like, understood currently within the game's narrative. And, you know, with all the similarly shady circumstances of its founding, we never go into Altman outside of saying he found the marker, then died, people figured he was a harbinger of the divine. That's it. No fucking supplemental novels, no prequels, no none of that, because it's not fucking important. We throw it out. Fuck that. Let's also say that unitology, like, let's get a doctrine, you know, a set of beliefs that are real and followable. Let's say that they promote the values of collaboration and cooperation. And what they want is people who want to be together and sort of perform works as a unit to accomplish something greater than the whole. Something easy to digest, you know? So, like any kind of cult, we should probably spread it the way that actual cults spread, in that they target lonely, vulnerable, disenfranchised individuals. But let's just go ahead and nip the pay your way through the ranks thing and replace it with something else. Let's post the church up as somewhere that you can go when you have nowhere else. Like, if you are really, truly down and out, you are fucked 8 ways to Sunday, there is no getting out of the hole, you can go to the Church of Unitology. They'll feed you, they'll clothe you, they'll get you an education, they'll help you find a job, and only then can you volunteer part of your salary as a donation for, like, tax credit or some shit. You know, like the real world. If you set up this kind of system, you get the loyalty they would want and need in order to continue to exist. There's no need to put people in brainwashing booths, because then someone's going to go, wait, what the fuck is this? And they're going to run away or take pictures and go to the news, and then the cops want to know what you're up to. But if every last one of them is saying, no, the church saved my fucking life and I wouldn't be here without them, you don't talk shit about those people. Then you have, like, you know, real on-the-ground methods of spreading your beliefs. Beliefs that are, on the surface, extremely palatable. This also has the benefit of making a mining venture of nothing but unitologists not only normal, but desirable for corporations like CEC. These people like working together, like on literally anything. Group labor is their religion, and they're grateful for the opportunity to practice. Usually among folks that are like them, that were nobody, had nothing, and now look at them. So then let's, you know, we'll talk about the Ishimura. Now that the mining vessel is full of these people, and it's not a weird church conspiracy that would basically be fucking impossible to pull off, it's just business as usual, and this is a better setting for horror. Business as usual is what you want to interrupt. If it's all wackadoo nonsense from the start, then your audience, in this case me, becomes numb and bored. So we keep a lot of the history of the Ishimura. The ship's been in service forever, and it's always been an unofficial unitology boat. They live together, they work together, they spread the gospel together by delivering the fruit of this kind of, like, almost worker bee mentality to the colonies. These people come back with just hella resources every time. Their job satisfaction is high, their accident rate is low, they love each other. This is a group of brothers and sisters out there doing their shit. Regular people need them, the government needs them, they're warm, they're welcoming, there's a spot for everyone. On the surface, looks great. So this regular-ass mining boat, with a regular-ass crew with a high success rate, gets called out to Aegis 7, which, for my rewrite, is now a totally legal private holding of CEC. Because why the fuck would they not have to file a flight plan? Where someone goes, I'm sorry, where the fuck are you going? Because that system is quarantined off. You are not allowed to go there. There is absolutely no way that with a solar system spanning empire, and in fact probably multiple star systems, because Aegis 7 is not by Sol, with an empire that big, spanning multiple star systems, that you don't track where the fuck it is that your resource fucking mining vessels go. You need to know where they're headed. You need to know when they'll be back, because you need to know what it is that you're going to do in the meantime if they fail to deliver, and what kind of resources you're going to need to dedicate to a rescue and to security, because undoubtedly there are bad actors. And if, let's say, a somewhat smaller mining vessel is out there, they pull up a big old chunk of palladium. It's very valuable. And some unhappy fuckers cruise up beside that with guns and decide that's their palladium now. Well, you want to be able to tell them, no, it's not. As it stands in the Dead Space universe, they have no mechanism to do this because no one thought about this as a setting. They just thought about it as video game levels. It's not a world. Anyway, so they get called out to the holding there. It's a private holding from CEC. They have a claim to it. They paid their fees. It's permitted, whatever. There's a semi-permanent colony of like a survey group, people who are gonna be there for the long haul because it takes time, to study a planet. And it's mineral makeup. And this call comes back. They have found some incredible shit. There are deposits of rare minerals like cobalt, osmium, iridium, rhodium, like shit that you want to build advanced machinery. And they're off the charts. They're like 70% of the total yield. It's fucking crazy. On top of that, they have found manufactured structures here. They're old, but someone built them a long time ago, and within those structures, there is a marker, like the one in the book that they all fucking read and worship. It's there. And that's not all. When they brought people who were involved in some accidents, because it's a busy work site, shit happens. They figured that they might want to bury these people who made this discovery by the discovery, the marker. They can kind of chill out in the shadow of that forever. Well, the call says that some of the guys that were trapped in the cave-in a week or so ago are back. And they're not just rescued. They were dead, and now they're up and moving and working. So that brings us to the introduction to our lead for this installment. Aboard the Ishimura itself, this time on the way to this claim of both riches and miracles, is Isaac Clarke. He's assigned to the outing by CEC. They own the ship after all. And he may or may not be into the whole unitology thing. He's at least aware of it. But it doesn't really matter what his personal stance is on it. He's part of the engineering team for the ship. And a job's a job. And, the people on board are decent people. You want to probably work on a unitologist boat. You're going to get along just fine. Because at the very least, so long as you're doing your job, they don't have a problem with you. All's good. So when we get to Aegis 7, the Ishimura, like the Kellion, the shuttle that we originally rode in on, would try to establish contact with the colony only to get this weird chant in an alien language in return. The syllables repeat over and over again, but nobody on board can make heads or tails of it, like it's not a known language. They figure it might be like a garbled SOS or some other auto-response message, so odds are good something is fucked on the surface, and we, again, need to go fix an antenna. We send Isaac down, and it's immediately apparent on landing that things are bad. Expecting to be greeted by the survey crew and maybe a few security guards, they get one person, bloodied and battered, screaming something about being reduced to one, and that they, quote, aren't back. And maybe we would have them kind of gag out a similar chant, like they're attempting to stuff the words back in, but it's happening involuntarily. And they sob and mutter to themselves to stop it. Inside, the facility, let's lean less on meat and more on relatively normal spaces marked with signs of struggle and strife, like holes in the wall from spent munition, rends and gouges from fucking drills and saws and angle grinders and all that stuff. Maybe bloodstains, maybe marker scrawl. Somewhere, what's important for this setting here, this kind of scene dressing, is that there's the sound of metal grinding. And, you know, it's a mining place where we're doing surveys. Someone's cutting something, but what they would be cutting in the welcome area is odd. So the security escort tries to make contact. Maybe it's a character similar to Hammond. They call out to the dark, and then the chant starts again. And it's in unison. And there are so many voices. And work lights flick on in the darkness, and we get to see our first necromorphs. And they're miners, kind of. Their envirosuits are, like, shredded. There's clinging pieces of protective gear. They're not worn so much as they are affixed, with rivets and spikes and epoxies and sealants and nails and staples. They've been attached to the tools of their trade, and their missing pieces are crudely replaced with metals and plastics in the way that one would patch like a shitty boiler or tape up a broken window on a car. Fluids, part blood, part this slurry, this gray-black goop, pool in sacks and shake silicon tubing, churning as a circulatory system under like really specific orders not to stop, simply makes do. And they descend on our protagonist, immune to pain and reason, but not to injury. If you can interrupt the flow, you know, drop their blood pressure, render the body incapable of locomotion, they stop, but that's the only way that they stop. If the leak is too slow or the injury is too small, they'll just keep trying, maybe eventually exsanguinate on their own, but it takes time, and time's not something you have. So with their hands and with the tools bolted to their limbs and their teeth, if they can get them around you, they just keep coming. And from this initial confrontation, our heroes fight their way through or escape and lose some of the security escort to make the player feel vulnerable. We can introduce Dr. Brennan, who is exhausted. She may not have slept in the past few days, and is just happy to see anyone. She's alone, and she doesn't know if there's anyone else left at all, and she fills in the blanks for us. The marker is absolutely real, and so is the resurrection in a way. It started out as just accidents and rumors, but now the unitologists here have taken whatever is happening as a sign, and they think that this, what you've seen, what you've just fought through, is how we are meant to be. And so long as you don't disturb the work of, and she'll coin the term, necromorphs, you aren't bothered. Until one of them breaks down. That's when they go harvesting. Some people have gone way over the edge and aren't just avoiding them, but are actively helping. They're seeking not only to contribute to whatever machinations are afoot, whatever it is they're building, but to grow the workforce and make better workers and defenders of this new project. The marker can bring anything back so long as the parts are attached and the circuits are closed, so to speak. The signal seems to force neurons and organs to function. Just as long as the plumbing is attached, donor compatibility be damned. The cells of the parts still need to be fed, and whatever they can't use to build gets, for lack of a better term, composted and fed back as that slurry in the sacks attached to the necromorphs themselves. She expresses that it would be incredible if it wasn't this. Grafting bodily tissues together, connecting neurons from disparate parts, and completely killing the chance of rejection, regardless of material origin, the implications for medicine, if it could be harnessed, would change the nature of life as we know it. But as it stands, it's mankind reduced, or rather converted, to an almost mechanical simplicity. Parts are parts, and good enough is good enough, something that an engineer might understand. From there, we can conduct the game in a kind of reversal of what we saw. We isolate that the signal is coming from the marker, and figure that getting it off the colony should settle shit down for a more proper investigation. And besides, the ship will have advanced methods of shielding any kind of signal pouring out from it. It all should be good. It's not like they haven't harvested radioactive things or been very close to stars with no atmospheric protection. Our necromorph variants would come in the forms of different kinds of homunculi assembled by the miners, engineers, and officers of the colony. If we need something to leap, we build a leg out of other legs, springs, jets, quick-release hydraulics, so on and so forth, so that the shape of them has to then make sense for what it is that they do. We don't just get these tangles of corpses or these weird scorpion-tailed half-torsos and some shit like that. If we're calling it the Leaper, I believe I described previously, let's say that they have severed the bone at the shin and have installed a piston and a spring. In order to stabilize this and absorb shock on falling, they have attached, let's say 3 crudely jointed proto-shins and feet just below where the knee would be. When the creature bends down, these things flex out and reveal the machinery inside. And then the muscles relax, allows the spring to do its thing, you get a little kick as well, and the leg snaps shut, and off it goes, propelling itself a reasonable distance. You get the idea. So, basically you start with equipment and you wrap a body around it. Or bolt it to it, weld it if possible, whatever. If we need something physically powerful, we build a lifter out of our more physically powerful corpses. Stuff as much meat in there as you want. You just be sure to glue it down to the other meat, maybe with like medical supplies that are meant to quickly suture wounds, or a kind of protein gel. Would make sense as far as like an adhesive, and like, fuck it, let's see about slapping hydraulics on their lifting joints as well. One guy not enough? That's fine. We got plenty. Lash as many together as you want to make a muscle stump, if you particularly care to. Nothing matters. Everything is possible under the marker. It just can't only be gobs of meat. It has to be held together with something. So, the colony naturally is falling apart. People aren't performing maintenance, they're harvesting things to build whatever it is they're trying to build. And we have Isaac fight his way through this atmosphere, while trying to make sure that the unitologists don't simply vent it and wait for their ascension. You know, keep the reactor, powering it from melting down or breaching and killing them all with radiation, and, you know, generally dealing with crumbling mechanical infrastructure at the same time as trying not to be hacked apart and used for parts himself. Eventually, we get to, let's say, the backup power, and we are finally able to rig up a transmitter that should be able to provide a burst powerful enough to cut through the other signal that's being broadcast so they can send their mayday. We don't get a response. The shuttle arrives, but there's no instructions, there's no words, there's no anyone with it. So we load the marker. We leave. We make it to the Ishimura, but the broadcast we heard earlier was apparently enough to start this all over again. The people on board have seen the light. When the shuttle docks, drawn in by the Autoland protocol, they want to thank Isaac and Dr. Brennan for showing them the way and delivering the physical manifestation of the message. The work does have to continue. The signal has to be heard. So the second half of our game takes place on the Ishimura, a place that we were previously safe. It was our ticket out. Now it's potentially a weapon of mass destruction. The Ishimura is capable of faster than light travel. If it takes the signal, the marker itself, anywhere, well, that's probably in range of a relay. Or it could simply visit planet after planet after planet, spreading the gospel as it likes. The marker, previously attempting to get drones it made to erect like a powerful enough array to... Jeez, let me rephrase that sentence. I think I skipped several parts. So the marker itself, having previously attempted to get the drones to make what Isaac can now recognize as a powerful enough broadcast array to simply fling a signal into space and wait, now seems to realize that the ship is a much faster ticket. It humanity has provided it with a propagation method that it didn't even dream of. And having been exposed to the marker's influence as long as she has been, Dr. Brennan starts to crack. She mutters to herself in a rhythm that we're familiar with and drifts off mid-thought. She's riddled with doubt and despair. She can't help these people. And these people are, in her mind, sick. Doctors are supposed to be able to fix things, to fix ailments like this, and she's been shown how entirely incapable she is of doing that twice now. But the marker might know how. The marker keeps things working when they otherwise wouldn't. Maybe it knows how to fix us. Maybe it knows how to fix this. Well, Isaac is attempting to stop the signal and scuttle the ship, encountering different homunculi of varying adaptations, vacuum morphs with EVA jets grafted to them, armed security personnel, because, why just wield one gun? Why not 7? We can bolt as many arms onto you as we want. And do you need more armor? Cool, we can shove that right in under the bone and just sort of keep it in place there. You no longer need a plate carrier, fuck it. As he's doing this, Nicole's help wanes. She previously would have been the person primarily providing objectives. She knows the facility, knows how it works, knows who's where, what's stationed there, and so on and so forth. But here, she's kind of gone. She oscillates between a longing to make these people whole again and just utter despair. She'll never see home again. Nobody here is going to. And where would you even call home after this? What would feel warm and safe? Eventually, and without an encounter with Big Meat, Isaac is victorious. He manages to set the ship on the course to the nearest star. He destroys its broadcast antenna. All we have to do is grab Dr. Brennan and go, but she tells you that she's not leaving. She can't. She states the syllables of the chant to you as plainly as she can, arrhythmically as she can, still trying to be the good doctor and prevent contagion. But she knows the song, and if she goes with you, it spreads. She uses her credentials as the only medical officer on board the Ishimura, and therefore the chief one, to launch every escape pod and all shock space capable shuttles, save for one, also into the local sun. She fills the air and her time as you make your way to the shuttle to escape with anything other than the chant. So she tells you stories of how she grew up. She tells you stories of how she got through school, maybe relationships she had, people she misses, things she wishes she could have done, maybe professions she wishes she could have pursued. By the time that we are leaving the Ishimura and nearing the end of broadcast range, she has reverted to reciting nursery rhymes and lullabies, and the last one we hear is something simple and sweet and comforting. It's satisfaction in the completion of a pattern to substitute the denial of another. And as Isaac, we're there for as long as we can for the only other person who's managed to make it with us this far. She finishes the song once all the way through before she fades into white noise and the shock drive warms up. And I did want to bring in Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, because I don't think that people know the lyrics. Like, we all know Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. And it's with the rest of the song that I would be foreshadowing an alternate Dead Space 2. And the rest of it, the lyrics are like this. That is, when the blazing sun is gone, when he nothing shines upon, then you show your little light, twinkle, twinkle, all the night. Then the traveler in the dark thanks you for your tiny spark. He could not see which way to go, if you did not twinkle so. In the dark blue sky you keep, and often through my curtains peep, for you never shut your eye till the sun is in the sky. 'Tis your bright and tiny spark lights the traveler in the dark, though I know not what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Anyway, I'll probably take another crack at like Dead Space 2 and see where this alternate version I have rattling around in my head goes, just like as we go. And we'll take a look at maybe some moms, when we get to 3, because we didn't look at very many there. I just found myself too tired to fucking look at their horrible ad campaign. Anyway, thanks for indulging me. I'll leave you to wander alone for a bit. Oh, very cool. You're impressed. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, by yourselves for a bit. By yourselves. I'll catch up later. See ya.